Hey guys, welcome back to Grading the Market. Rudy Campos Jr. for Sweep the League. Be sure to go to YouTube, search Sweep the League TV, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any, and I mean any shows, whether it be Grading the Market, STL 316, or the Big Show, Sweep the League TV, coming to you on the Sweep the League Network. What are we talking about today on Grading the Market? Well, it's going to be myself and Matt Schilling from SI Collectibles. And we are talking, of course, about Paul Skenes, the MLB debut card, not pulled by a breaker, but breaking the hearts of breakers everywhere and collectors everywhere is an 11-year-old kid that pulled it. I believe it was in California. Plus, we're going to talk a little bit about national championship game, Ohio State defeating Notre Dame, and whatever else comes up. We got a short show today for you. But again, let's get started with grading the market. Let's bring him in here, the legend here at Sweep the League TV when it comes to collectibles, SI himself, Mr. Matt Schilling. What's going on, Matt?
Hey, what's going on, Rudy? Thanks for having me back once again. So as you hinted at, sort of in the beginning of the intro there, the Paul Skenes RDPA has been found. The rookie debut patch autograph that probably had one of the highest bounties on it in the hobby. I think there was one from David Adams, and I think there was one from the Pittsburgh Pirates, which was an absolutely massive haul if the trade were to be accepted, and they were then to become the second owner of the card. But let's not talk about that for right now. Let's talk about how the card was found. So as of the last 24 hours in the frenzy of the Skenes 1/1 rookie debut patch autograph being found, an 11-year-old on Sunday, from what I understand, went to his local card shop, took his allowance money, and bought a single pack of Topps baseball.
Yeah.
Single pack. Not a box, not a blaster, not a mega box, not a hobby box, a single pack. And in a single pack of odds somewhere around 1 in, 3 million.
Yeah.
Pulled the Paul Skenes 1/1 MLB rookie debut patch autograph. The thing carries with it probably a minimum valuation of somewhere in the hundreds of thousands. I estimated it to be between 4 and 5. But for a kid like this is a life-changing card, not just for him, but for his family, right? There's a lot of questions out there in terms of, hey, what would 11-year-old you do? Well, 11-year-old me is vastly different than 11-year-old him. But I think that, at the end of the day, right, college is probably paid for. This is absolutely something, and there's not many out there, especially coming from me, I would part with immediately, for the right price, of course. Golden, I'm sure Heritage, I'm sure Alt are all going to want to be in the mix. I would, gradually, professionally take offers. Maybe his mom and dad have a little of experience in, whatever their backgrounds might be. Maybe they want to consult with a lawyer first or something like that. But definitely get somebody who's, enough to advise in a card like this. This is probably the most, or was up until yesterday, the most sought after card of the decade. Not of the year, not of the month, but of the decade. So, congrats to the little guy out of California. All of the remaining collecting world, all 99.99% of us are a little bit sad we weren't the ones that pulled it, but congrats to the little guy out of the West Coast there.
The thing with the Paul Skenes card being pulled in California, again, congrats to the little guy out there. I mean, 11-year-old. It reminded me of a local guy in San Antonio that went to What's on Second Card Shop, and I remember clearly he pulled the Luca 1/1. Was it the rated rookie gold? That was pulled here, and actually that was like the same week or a week before I pulled that Luca the 10 auto rookie. And again, a sought after player. And you made the comment, hold the card, sell the card. What do you want to do? This is one of those things where if I'm a massive Paul Skenes fan, my only option right now is probably sell the card, because a card like this,
yeah,
you never know the value. Right now, the value is so astronomical that I had the fear of Luca kind of spiraling down a little bit, because it does tend to happen. So it's got to be, you got to think that the card's going to go to Golden or someone right away. And in matter of fact, it's probably already on its way there.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I think you're saying 500,000. I mean, I'm putting a price maybe around 250, maybe 200,000, but Could this essentially be a $1 million card if Skenes gets any more better in the next couple of years?
Um, here's the trade-off, right? I think right now is the peak of the market for him before he heads into the next season. And the reason I say that is there are too many factors. I mean, you go to day one. Let's see, he comes out. He's going to probably be their number one starter on opening day.
Yeah.
He gets rocked. That card's losing 20% right off the top.
Yeah.
Let's say, the medical minds of the MLB decide to come in and say he needs Tommy John surgery. That card's losing 40% of its value.
That's the scary part because as a pitcher,
right now, there is no better time between, I'd even say now and March 1st. So you have a 40-day window, give or take a couple days, to get rid of this thing. It's never going to see the value it's going to see in the next 40 days. 500, maybe, a little bit more, give or take. I'm sure Kenny Golden over at Golden Auctions, well-known guy throughout the hobby. We all know him. We all love him. I'm sure he'll probably, has some folks in his back pocket that'll pay upwards of that number. Who knows what the Pirates want to do with it? How do they want to come in? I know Skenes and his girlfriend Libby Dunn have been big in this, movement for the ransom of the card. But literally, I think the kid's got a 40-day window if he wants to get top dollar for this card.
Graded. Do you grade this card?
You do, but I don't think the grade matters.
Yeah. I would say so.
8, 9, 10, it's all going to be the same.
I got it. Okay. And that was my next thought, was grading the card. I mean, probably Golden, they're probably going to be like, well, let's get the card graded. We'll put it up back there, have it sealed and everything.
He may not be. In this case, he may just have it sealed and or authenticated. I don't know if he'll have it graded. I'm not saying the condition is wrecked. I haven't seen the card myself, but I don't see it grading anything lower than an 8. A 10 with these is super difficult. Anytime you have thickness of card, anything you have, the logo raised, just out of sheer, hobby experience, getting a 10 on something like this is nearly impossible. I personally would go to BGS for this because I think the 9.5 would be probably 9.5 according to their standards. Again, not knowing what kind of condition, how this left the pack and where it went from there. So, having no insight into that, I can't really give an accuracy there. But if it's minimal or from pack to holder or pack to penny sleeve, as the saying goes, it's probably a 9.5, barring any, floor
No,
drop.
wasn't this sorry, what was it? Wasn't this card a redemption though?
Oh, if it was, then even better.
That's the crazy part, because I know there was a rumor out there that the Paul Skenes was a redemption. I mean, they do technically have the card, but it wasn't put in a pack. Being how sought out it was, they made it a redemption.
Well, if that's the case, then more power to the kid. He's probably getting a 9.5, 10 since it's coming straight from Topps.
Golly, man, that is amazing. The little kid,
and the 10, if it comes back PSA 10 or a BGS 10, if there's nothing wrong with this card, and I think this is one of those rare instances where the human eye needs to supersede the AI and the tech eye on this one, because I think that those will have a tendency to lean downward as they do with regular grading, and that's nothing new to the hobby, right? There seems to be a downward bias, but I think this needs to be like, either Beckett's or PSA's top grading guy to look at every minuscule element here and give the most accurate grade possible.
Golly, man, 11-year-old kid. I know when you and I were 11 years old, we weren't thinking of $500,000 cards.
No, dude, I was thinking about, McDonald's cheeseburgers and Happy Meals.
You're thinking about what toy we're getting into Happy Meal at 11 years old. Talking to Matt Schilling. Again, you got to go to si.com/collectibles today. Sports car collecting, collectibles in general. It's Matt Schilling over at SI Collectibles. Talking about Paul Skenes. And, the one thing about the Paul Skenes card is this right now. There are still a lot of MLB debut patches out there. So just because you didn't get the Skenes, there are still a good amount of them out there for those that are still searching for them.
And the thing is, they carry a nice premium. So even if you're not going to get that $500,000 payday, there's a very good chance, and I've got to see a list of what's left, but you're getting a minimum of probably a G per card, $1,000 easy per card, for no name guys, and not to say that they're no names today, right? Tomorrow they could hit 3 home runs or have 9 strikeouts in a game, and all of a sudden that thing's got some significant upside.
Yeah, they actually hold, and I remember I looked it up here not too long ago. You've got one right now. Evan Justice one is going for 1,500 with two bids only right now. Still got about 24 hours on that one. You've got one for 6,000 for Sawyer Gibson right now. So I mean, these guys who you really don't have, they're not named guys right now, but they could eventually be, are still going for minimum a couple $1,000. So don't
Yeah.
don't waste the chase. Put it that way. Continue to buy the product. You still got MLB debut cards out there. Talking to Matt Schilling again, SI Collectibles, and we go from Skenes to Buckeyes and Irish from the national championship game. Ohio State went on a massive run when it comes to the CFP. They go through Tennessee 42-17. They play against Oregon, get their revenge against Oregon, and not just in any way dominating one of the best teams, and not the best team in college football, 41-21. Get by Texas 28-14. Had a tiny, minute scare against Notre Dame for a little bit there, but they were still well in control. 34-23. The Buckeyes ran the gauntlet, Matt. Buckeye Nation should be feeling happy.
Buckeye Nation should be feeling happy. They are happy. I think that Ryan Day's job is now secure, at least for another season, after that absolutely tumultuous loss to Michigan during the regular season. And I really think that if they didn't run the table as they did through the CFP playoff, his job was a little bit in jeopardy there. I've got some friends who are pretty big Big Ten guys. Hold on. Sorry. Text from the wife. We're highly disappointed. Breaking news: the Mets made an announcement, and it was nothing significant. But getting back to Ryan Day,
we all got some good breaking news there.
Yeah. So getting back to Ryan Day, I think that his job is now secure, at least for another season. The only way to overcome that regular season Michigan loss was to win a national championship. But the crazy thing for the hobby to take a look at with the Ohio State team, and not just the Ohio State team, but the game as a whole, right? There's three players that stand out for me. One are both quarterbacks, right? You have Riley Leonard, you have Will Howard, who are making an immediate impact on the game. Wrote about the two of them yesterday, so if you guys head over to si.com/collectibles, you can check those out. But I think that's where the immediate impact on the hobby lies. This morning, I wrote an article on Quinshon Judkins. He's the running back everybody now loves, and up until Monday, no one really knew of, unless you were either tied into the Big Ten, tied into Ohio State. But Judkins is the guy that put up 120 plus yards of scrimmage and 3 touchdowns in that game. 3 touchdowns in the national championship, something that's extremely unheard of. This definitely increased and enhanced his draft stock. If in fact he does declare, which I think he did, but we're going to have to check on that. He could be a second round running back. The kid's got power. The kid's got prestige. He's got the stat lines. He comes from, strong pedigree. He was a transfer into Ohio State after Michigan won their championship the previous year. So good things all around for the OSU faithful. I think, like I said, Riley Leonard and Will Howard should be on people's radars. They'll be probably day 2 quarterback draft picks. If in fact that's the case. I don't put either one, believe it or not, in my top 5. But I do think both end up on pretty decent teams.
Yeah, I think I've got them probably day 2, day 3, round 3 guys. I don't know days, but round 2, round 3 guys basically for Riley Leonard and Will Howard. Both are putting up, great numbers, and both are going to be good quarterbacks in the league. I don't have them top 5, kind of like you mentioned. You mentioned Judkins as well, but one thing that's kind of cool in the hobby, speaking of, is you've got college prism draft. You've got all of these different things that kind of cater to the collegiate guys. So let's not forget that you've got the true freshman, the freshman out there, Jeremiah Smith. His cards, collegiate wise, right now are probably going to go skyrocketing because he's not draft eligible yet for a couple of years. So is it time to maybe jump on that Jeremiah Smith bandwagon?
I'm not opposed to jumping on the Smith bandwagon, but sort of I take the heavily cautious approach to anything collegiate. Because in a lot of cases, right, you have cards that are I think some are licensed and some are unlicensed.
Yeah.
That's one factor, right? The other factor is, hey, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow with the implementation of the transfer portal.
Yeah.
Will Howard got a lottery ticket to a national championship. Judkins, lottery ticket to a national championship. That's one team of, a few hundred that are competing for that. At the end of the day, right? Everybody starts day one is wanting to compete for the national title. But you just have to be weary about these guys because you got to remember too, only a small percentage of them are still going to make the NFL.
Yeah.
And
true.
if they don't, then those values are gone as fast as they came. So that's my, I take an uber conservative approach to anything collegiate. Just because it's such a crapshoot. Now, listen, if you have, you're not living in a professional sports city and college sports are what you follow and how you've kind of sort of dedicated your weekends, dude, by all means, go out there, stock up on your favorite players, create a PC around a team, whatever the case may be, and good on you if you can get some serious ROI. But I just take being, somebody from New York where I have the Yankees, Mets, Jets, Giants, Knicks, Rangers, Islanders. There's a lot more there than somebody who plays for St. John's basketball.
That is true, man. We're talking to Matt Schilling, SI Collectibles here, talking about some national championship talk here. Will Howard, Riley Leonard, guys that you're going to be looking for coming up in the NFL draft. Also, when their cards come out, definitely want to pick them up. Like we mentioned last time, I was picking up Spencer Rattlers before he became starter, looking at a lot of these guys. Now, can't go out and get a Jaden Daniels pretty cheap anymore. Can't go out and get a Bo Nix cheap anymore. But for a while there, you could get a guy like Michael Penix Jr. because he wasn't starting, got started towards the end of the year. I mean, there's definitely different guys out there you can pick up. Look for Riley Leonard and Will Howard. One last thing before we go here on Grading the Market, which you can get by subscribing to our YouTube page, Sweep the League TV, hit that subscribe button, is this. Yesterday, Matt, the MLB released their Hall of Fame class of 2025. The guy who should have been unanimous wasn't, and we're actively searching for the one guy who didn't vote for Ichiro, but you also saw Wagner and Sabathia get in. In terms of sports cards and collectibles, does making the Hall drive up the price on some cards? Because it's weird. If a player passes away, you kind of see a spike a little bit. They make the Hall of Fame. It spikes, but this is the question I want to ask is, Tim Duncan make the Hall of Fame? His card stayed even, didn't go up any much. But the MLB Hall of Fame, knowing how difficult it is to get in, does that kind of move the market and the needle a little bit?
Not as much as you would think it does, and I think everybody knows that answer. A guy like Ichiro has that long-term inherent value into his collectibles, his autographs, his jerseys, his cards, what have you, right? A guy like Billy Wagner just doesn't carry it. And I'm a Billy Wagner fan. He played for my Mets, right? Good on him. Had a hell of a career. But it's not going to do anything for his cards. It's just, he wasn't, even star players, I don't necessarily think that you're going to see a spike unless you're that, not necessarily even that generational talent, but what the hobby deems you as a generational talent. Now, Mike Trout, latter part of career, more hurt than not. I don't know. I don't know what that does to his cards. Shohei Ohtani, definitely going to spike. You're probably going to see 10, 15%, and that's just a culmination of his career, right? Guys like Lindor, yeah, he's got Hall of Fame numbers. He's got to keep it paced up for another 2-3 years, and he'll have a lock in that. Hopefully he goes in as a Met. Does that do anything for his cards? I'm not really sure. Yeah. Maybe 10 or 15%. And then, right, they're gonna taper off again. It's going to be interesting to see how Paul Skenes' career plays out. It's going to be interesting to see how another, probably handful of guys' careers play out, right? What happens, or how do you consider even early valuations of guys like Sasaki, right? These Japanese imports that could have a significant impact on the U.S. game, but does that translate into valuation? We really don't know. We haven't seen how the market's tested yet. Because these guys haven't so sort of made that pinnacle move, haven't been selected to the Hall yet. The careers aren't over. They're still going. Injury factors come into play. I don't think that can be said of Ohtani because I still personally believe he's a robot, but that's a whole nother conversation. But you might see a premium. Like I said, 10, 15%, you're not going to see 100% increase just because the guy made it to the Hall of Fame. And I don't think I know how hard it is to get in. Basketball, there's no real translation there. I don't see that having any impact on LeBron values. Kobe values, on the other hand, the unfortunate circumstances that situation is of him passing away in his early 40s in an absolute tragedy, skyrocketed the values of his cards. Yeah. That's going to happen. But if he were, wherever he was in his career, blah, 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 I don't think the Hall of Fame would have mattered. To a guy like Jordan, it's a 20, 30% increase. To a guy, other guys, I don't know. I really don't know. Yeah, I don't think it has any effect on guys like Joker or even Luka. Luka's values have actually been in a little bit of a decline.
God, they've been in a massive decline. I wouldn't be nice about it.
A little bit.
Yeah, I wouldn't be nice about it. Not on our show here for Grading the Market. It's been a massive decline. So yeah, it just kind of shows, making the Hall of Fame, for those that ask the question, it doesn't really do much to value. I mean, value is going to be where it is, and really the only kind of thing in card collecting and collectible in general is you're more likely to see a value go down before you're going to see it go up, to a massive amount. So keep that in mind, guys, for Hall of Fame. Congratulations to CC Sabathia, Billy Wagner, and Ichiro Suzuki, newest class of the 2025 MLB Hall of Fame. What you guys can do is go to YouTube, search Sweep the League TV. You can get this great show, Grading the Market, with Matt and myself. We come to you once a week, maybe twice a week. We can get it done, but minimum once a week. Also, Eric Jacob Canziano is also the other host for Grading the Market. So you've got a lot of coverage back to back, coast to coast here at Sweep the League. So we're going to end the show right now. But for those of y'all that always ask, the show is previously recorded. It'll be in the title. We'll maybe go live a couple of times. We'll try the live version here for Grading the Market. But for right now, it is previously recorded. You can go follow Matt Schillen and X. It's at MJ Schillen. You can follow me at Sweep the League. So for Matt Schillen, this is Rudy Campos Jr. Until we grade the market again, we'll see you later, knuckleheads.